Hi everybody. Good evening. I am Manoj Kumar Chaudhary, advocate. Welcome you all on behalf of Nani Palkiwala Law Club. In this series, we have finished the BNS, which is a comparative of BNS versus IPC. Today we are here for the part 1 of BNSS comparison with the CrPC. As we know, this act has been enacted from 1st July 2024. Today we have Advocate Jayprakash Somani, Supreme Court of India, to give us a comparative study of BNSS vis-a-vis CrPC. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoj. Friends, we have already completed BNS versus IPC. That is available on our YouTube channel. And all sections we have completed in 3 parts. So 3 videos you will see there. Today, we are going to see 132 section till 132 sections, because we have to complete total 531 sections of BNSS. So we will complete this in 4 parts. So today is our first part. So let me share you the document which I am going to read section wise with comparison with CrPC, Criminal Procedure Code. So friends, just give me a few seconds. CrPC was enacted in 1860. In 2023. Yes. So friends, this is a comparative chart of all sections. Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, BNSS. This law replaced Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. So CrPC, after 1860, CrPC we have already updated in 1973, and now we have replaced BNSS to CrPC in 2023, and this was recently enacted in 2023, but notified in 2024 on 1st July, applicable to whole India, including Jammu and Kashmir. So friends, we have to complete total 531 sections, but today we will cover 132 sections. Earlier section, total section in CrPC was 484, but now in BNSS these are 531 sections. So see the chapters 1, preliminary, in BNSS. In CrPC, also chapter 1, preliminary. Section 1, short title, extent and commencement. Section 2, definitions. Section 3, construction of references. Section 4, trial of offences under Bharatiya Nyay Sanhita 2023 and other laws. Section 5, savings. Chapter 2, constitution of criminal courts and offences and offices. Section 6, classes of criminal courts. Section 7, territorial divisions. Section 8 is now court of session in BNSS, but it was in CrPC. Section 8, metropolitan area. So metropolitan areas are deleted now. So section 8 of BNSS, court of session. Its earlier section in CrPC, section 9. Same section 10 of CrPC is now deleted. Section 10 was subordination of assistant session judge. Now, section 9 of BNSS, courts of judicial magistrate. Its earlier section in CrPC, courts of judicial magistrate, was section 11. In BNSS, section 10, chief judicial magistrate and additional chief judicial magistrate, etc. Its earlier section in CrPC was section 12. Section 11 of BNSS, special judicial magistrates. Its earlier section in CrPC was section 13. Section 12 of BNSS, local jurisdiction of judicial magistrates. Its earlier section was in CrPC section 14. Section 13 of BNSS, subordination of judicial magistrate. Its earlier section was in CrPC section 15. Friends, section 16, 17, 18 and 19 of Criminal Procedure Code was now deleted. So what was in that section? CrPC section 16, which is deleted, contains courts of metropolitan magistrate. Section 17, chief metropolitan magistrate and additional chief metropolitan magistrate. Section 18, special metropolitan magistrate, and section 19, subordination of metropolitan magistrate. BNSS already deleted metropolitan magistrate, so metropolitan magistrate related section, now it is deleted. So I am moving towards section 14 of BNSS, executive magistrate. Its earlier section was in CrPC section 20. BNSS section 15, special executive magistrate. Its earlier section was in CrPC section 21. Section 16 of BNSS, local jurisdiction of executive magistrates. Earlier section in CrPC section 22. Section 17 of BNSS, subordination of executive magistrate. Earlier section was 23 in CrPC. In BNSS section 18, public prosecutors. Earlier section was in CrPC 24. Section 19 of BNSS contains assistant public prosecutors. Earlier section was in CrPC section 25. Section 20 of BNSS, Directorate of Prosecution. Its earlier section was section 25A, which was amended section. Now I am moving towards chapter 3, friends. Chapter 3, powers of courts. Earlier also in CrPC, Chapter 3, power of courts. Section 21 of BNSS, courts by which offences are triable. Its earlier section was in CrPC, Section 26. Section 27 of CrPC now deleted, which was contained jurisdictional in the cases of juveniles. It is now deleted. Section 22 of BNSS, sentences which high courts and session courts may pass. Its earlier section was in CrPC, Section 28. Section 23 of BNSS, sentences which magistrate may pass. Its earlier section was in CrPC, Section 29. Section 24 of BNSS, sentence of imprisonment in default of fine. Its earlier section was in CrPC, Section 30. Section 25 of BNSS, sentences in cases of conviction of several offences at one trial. Its earlier section was in CrPC 31. BNSS Section 26, mode of conferring powers. Its earlier section was in CrPC 32. BNSS Section 27, power of officers appointed. Its earlier section was in CrPC 33. BNSS Section 28, withdrawal of power. Its earlier section was in CrPC 34. Section 29 of BNSS is related to power of judges and magistrate exercisable by their successor in office. Its earlier section was in CrPC, Section 35. Now, we are moving towards Chapter 4, powers of superior officers of police and aid to the magistrate and police. Earlier chapter was Chapter 4A, power of superior officers of police, and B, aid to the magistrate and the police, which was in CrPC. BNSS Section 30, power of superior officers of police. Its earlier section was in CrPC 36. BNSS Section 31, public when to assist magistrate and police. Its earlier section was in CrPC 37. BNSS Section 32, aid to person other than police officer executing warrant. Its earlier section was in CrPC 38. BNSS Section 33, public to give information to certain offences. Its earlier section was in CrPC 39. BNSS Section 34, duty of officers employed in connection with affair of a village to make certain report. Its earlier section was 40 in CrPC. Now, Chapter 5, arrest of person. Earlier was also Chapter 5, arrest of person in CrPC. BNSS Section 35, when police may arrest without warrant. Its earlier section was in CrPC Section 41. Section 35 of BNSS, Section 35.1, Section 35.2, Section 35.3, 4, 5, 6. Earlier section was 41.2, 41A, notice of appearance before the police officer. Section 35.7 of BNSS is new subsection. Section 36 of BNSS, procedure of arrest and duties of officer making arrest. Its earlier section was in CrPC 41B. Just increase some cooling, and not increase cooling, decrease cooling, increase temperature, yeah. In BNSS section 36, procedure of arrest and duties of officer making arrest. Its earlier section was in CrPC 41B. Section 37 of BNSS designated police officer. Its earlier section was 41C in CrPC. We don't have time today to discuss the section-wise content, but after completing these four parts, then in future, we can discuss any on other chapter in this Nani Palkiwala series. So now our main motto is just to show you what are the BNSS sections and what is the comparison of that section to CrPC. So which is very useful for remembering purposes. And this video you can play at your leisure also after uploading on YouTube. Tomorrow, till evening, it will upload to YouTube, and the link will be shared in our official Nani Palkiwala 1, Nani Palkiwala 2 official groups. So you can, in future, whenever you have the free time, and if you want to memorize the section-wise content, then you can play this. And don't forget, CrPC section also you have to keep in mind, because next 10 to 15 years at least, till matter got disposes from the Supreme Court, so CrPC will be in use for old matters. But for after 1st July, which FIR registered, from that onwards, new act will be applicable in BNS also and BNSS also. Section 38 of BNSS, right of arrest person to meet an advocate of his choice during interrogation. So earlier section was 41D. Section 39 of BNSS, arrest on refusal to give name and residence. Its earlier section was in CrPC 42. Section 40 of BNSS, arrest by private person and procedure on such arrest. Its earlier section was 43. Section 41 of BNSS, arrest by magistrate. Its earlier section was 44. Section 42 of BNSS, protection of members of armed forces from arrest. Its earlier section was 45 in CrPC. BNSS section 43, arrest how made. Its earlier section was in CrPC 46. Then section 43.1, 43.2, 43.3 is new subsection, 43.4 and 43.5. Its corresponding section in which is related to arrest how to made, 46.1, 46.2, 46.3 and 46.4, which was in CrPC. And now they are 43.1, 43.2, 43.3. This is a new subsection 43.4 and 43.5, which is related to arrest how to made. This procedure is very important. When police officer is crossing their limit, that is the point for our argument or for appellate court point. So whenever anybody is crossing the limit of procedure, limit of their authority, limit of their jurisdiction, okay, that is the catching point for any accused lawyers. Okay. Now, section 44 of BNSS, search of place entered by a person sought to be arrested. Its earlier section was in CrPC, section 47. Section 45, pursuit of offenders into other jurisdictions. Its earlier section was in CrPC 48. Section 46, no necessary restraint in BNSS. Section 46 in BNSS, no unnecessary restraint. Its earlier section was in CrPC 49. In BNSS section 47, person arrested to be informed or of grounds of arrest and of the right to bail. Its earlier section was in CRPC section 50. Section 48 of BNSS, obligation of a person making arrest to inform about the arrest, etc. to relative or friend. Its earlier section was in CRPC 50A. BNSS section 49, search of arrested person. Its earlier section was in CRPC section 51. Only two section differences here. Section 50 of BNSS, power of seize offensive weapons. Its earlier section was in CRPC section 52. Section 51 of BNSS, examination of accused by medical practitioner at request of police officer. Its earlier section was in BNSS, in CRPC, section 53. Section 51 of BNSS, which is related to examination of accused by medical practitioner at request of police officer, contain three subsections: 51.1, 51.2, 51.3 in BNSS. Its corresponding section was in CRPC 51, 53.1, 53.2. But 53.3 is not there because that was not in existence. But in BNSS 51.3 is there. BNSS section 52, examination of a person accused by rape by medical practitioner. Its earlier section was in CRPC section 53A. In BNSS section 53, examination of arrested person by medical officer. Its corresponding section was in CRPC section 54. In BNSS section 54, identification of person arrested. Its corresponding section of in CRPC section 54A. Section 55C in both BNSS as well as in CRPC is same, section 55. Procedure when police officer deputes subordinate to arrest without warrant. Section 56 of BNSS, health and safety of arrested person. Its earlier section was in CRPC 55A. Section 57 of BNSS, person arrested to be taken before magistrate or officer in charge of police station. Its earlier section was in CRPC section 56. Section 58 of BNSS, person arrested not to be detained more than 24 hours. Its earlier section was 57 in CRPC. So, after arresting any person before before magistrate, we should police officer should should take that person to any nearby magistrate, even though that day is a holiday. So that is the procedure. Where is that procedure given in BNSS? In section 58 now, and its corresponding section was in CRPC section 57. Section 59 of BNSS, police to report apprehensions. Its corresponding section was in CRPC section 58. In BNSS section 60, discharge of a person apprehended. Its corresponding section was in CRPC section 59. Section 61 of BNSS, power or escape to pursue and retain. Its earlier section was in CRPC section 60. In BNSS section 62, arrest to be made strictly according to Sanhita. Its earlier section was in CRPC 60A. Now, chapter 6, process to compel appearance. That is summons. Earlier chapter in CRPC was same, chapter 6, process to compel appearance, A, summons now. Section 63 of BNSS, form of summons. Earlier section was in CrPC 61. Section 64 of BNSS, summons how served. Earlier section was in CrPC section 62. In BNSS section 65, serve of summons on corporate bodies, firms and societies. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 63. In BNSS 65.1, 65.2, which is new subsection. In BNSS section 66, service when persons summoned cannot be found. Its earlier section was in CrPC 64. Section 67, procedure when service cannot be effected as before provided. Its earlier section was in CrPC section 65. BNSS section 68, service on government servant. Its earlier section was in CrPC 66. In BNSS section 69, serve of summons outside local limit. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 67. In BNSS section 70, proof of service in such cases and when serving officer not present. Its corresponding section was 68. In BNS section 71, 72 and 73, which is related to proof of services in such cases and when serving officer not present. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 68.1, 68.2, but 68.3 was not there. That is a new subsection in BNSS section 73. 70 subsection 3. BNSS section 71, service of summons on witnesses. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 69. B part of the chapter, warrant of arrest. Section 72 of BNSS, form of warrant of arrest and duration. Its earlier section was in CrPC 70. Section 73, power of direct security to be taken. Earlier section was in CrPC 71. Section 74 of BNSS, warrants to whom directed. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 72. In BNSS section 75, warrant may be directed to any person. Corresponding section was in CrPC 73. BNSS section 76, warrant directed to police officer. Its corresponding section was 74 in CrPC. Section 77, notification of substance of warrant. Its corresponding section was in CrPC section 75. In BNSS section 78, person arrested to be brought before court without delay. Its corresponding section was 76 in CrPC. Section 79, where warrant may be executed. Its corresponding section was 77 in CrPC. Section 80, warrant forwarded for execution outside jurisdiction. Its corresponding section was in CrPC section 78. Section 81, warrant directed to police officer for execution outside jurisdiction. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 79. In BNSS section 82, procedure on arrest of a person against whom warrant issued. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 80. Section 82.1, 82.2 of BNSS, but 82.2 is new subsection, which was not into existence in CrPC. In BNSS section 83, procedure by magistrate before whom such person arrested is brought. Its corresponding section was in CrPC section 81. C part of that 6th chapter, proclamation of attachment. Proclamation and attachment, not proclamation of attachment. Its corresponding section heading is also C, proclamation and attachment. Section 84 of BNSS, proclamation for person absconding. Remember this section, proclamation of person absconding. Its corresponding section was in CrPC section 82. In BNSS section 85, attachment of property of person absconding. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 83. This is a new section in section 86, new section of BNSS. Section 86 of BNSS, identification and attachment of property of proclaimed person. Section 87 of BNSS, claim and objection to attachment. Its corresponding section was 84 in CrPC. Section 88, release, sale and restoration of attached property. Its corresponding section was 85 in BNSS, sorry, in CrPC. BNSS section 88. Section 89 of BNSS, appeal from order rejecting application for restoration of attached property. Its corresponding section was 86 in BNSS, in CrPC. Then subchapter of D of that 6th chapter, subpart D, other rules regarding process. Section 90 of BNSS, issue of warrant in lieu of or in addition to summons. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 87. BNSS section 91, power to take bond or bail bond for appearance. Its corresponding section was 88 in CrPC. In BNSS section 92, arrest on breach of bond or bail bond for appearance. Its corresponding section was 89 in CrPC. BNSS section 93, provisions of this chapter generally applicable to summonses and warrants of arrest. Its corresponding section was 90 in CrPC. Now, friends, we are moving towards next chapter 7, processes to compel the production of things. It's a corresponding chapter also in CrPC 7, processes to compel the production of things. Now we are moving towards A part, summons to produce. Section 94 of BNSS, summons to produce document or other things. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 91. Section 95 of BNSS, procedure as to letters. Its corresponding section was 92 in CrPC. Increase temperature. Now part B, search warrants. Section 96 of BNSS, when search warrant may be issued. Its corresponding section was 93 in CrPC. Section 97, search of place suspected to contain stolen property, forged document, etc. Its corresponding section was 94 in CrPC. Section 98, power to declare certain publications forfeited and to issue search warrants for the same. Its corresponding section was 95 in CrPC. Section 99, application, section 99 of BNSS, application to High Court to set aside declaration of forfeiture. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 96. Section 100 of BNSS, search for persons wrongfully confined. Its earlier section was in CrPC 97. BNSS section 101, power to compel restoration of abducted females. Its corresponding section was in in CrPC 98. Part C of Chapter 7, General Provisions Related to Searches. Section 102 of BNSS, Direction, etc. of search warrants. Its corresponding section was in CrPC section 99. BNSS section 103, persons in charge of closed place to allow search. Its corresponding section was in CrPC section 100. BNSS section 104, disposal of things found in search beyond jurisdiction. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 101. Part D of Chapter 7 is miscellaneous. And this section 105 is new section in BNSS which was not into existence in CrPC. What contains this new section of BNSS 105? Recording of search and seizure through audio video recording means. Then BNSS section 106, power of police officer to seize certain property. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 102. See, this section is new in BNSS 107, attachment, forfeiture or restoration of property. Section 108 of BNSS, magistrate may direct search in his presence. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 103. BNSS section 109, power to impound document etc. produced. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 104. BNSS section 110, reciprocal arrangements regarding processes. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 105. Now, friends, here is chapter change. Chapter 8 of BNSS, if you compare to CrPC, in CrPC the chapter was chapter 7A, but now in BNSS chapter 8. Reciprocal arrangements for assistance in certain matters and procedure for attachment and forfeiture of property. Section 111 of BNSS, definitions. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 105A. Section 112 of BNSS, letter of request to competent authority for investigation in a country or place outside India. Its corresponding section was 166A in CrPC. In BNSS section 113, letter of request from a country or place outside India to a court or an authority for investigation in India, vice versa. Its earlier section was in CrPC 166B. Section 114 of BNSS, assistant in securing transfer of persons. Its corresponding section was 105B in CrPC. Section 115 of BNSS, assistant in relation to orders of attachment or forfeiture of property. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 105C. In BNSS section 116, identifying unlawfully acquired property. Its corresponding section was in CrPC 105D. In BNSS section 117, seizure or attachment of property, its corresponding section was in CrPC 105E. Section 118, management of properties seized or forfeited under this chapter. Corresponding section was in CRPC 105F. Section 119 of BNSS, notice of forfeiture of property, its corresponding section was in CRPC 105G. In BNSS sections 120, forfeiture of property in certain cases, its corresponding section was in CRPC 105H. In BNSS section 121, fine in lieu of forfeiture, its corresponding section in CRPC was 105I. In BNSS section 122, certain transfers to be null and void. Its corresponding section was in CRPC 105G. In BNSS section 123, procedure in respect of letter of request, its corresponding section was in CRPC 105K. In BNSS section 124, application of this chapter, its corresponding section was 105L. Now, see chapter 9 of BNSS, corresponding chapter was in CRPC chapter 8. Security for keeping the peace and for good behavior. BNSS section 125, security for keeping peace on conviction. Its earlier section was 106 in CRPC. BNSS section 126, security 126, security for keeping peace in other cases. Its corresponding section was in CRPC 107. In BNSS section 127, security for good behavior from persons dismantling certain matters. Its corresponding section was 108 in CRPC. Friends, section 128 of BNSS, security for good behavior from suspected persons. Its corresponding section was 109 in CRPC. In BNSS section 129, security for good behavior from habitual offender, its corresponding section was 110. In BNSS section 130, order to be made, its corresponding section was in CRPC 111. In BNSS section 131, procedure in respect of a person present in court, its corresponding section was 112 in CRPC. In BNSS section 132, summons or warrant in case of person not so present, its corresponding section was in CRPC 113. So friends, we have completed first part's 132 section here. Now, as usual, I am giving you some practical tips of advocacy. Just let me stop sharing this document, and then I will just share some few thoughts of practical thoughts of practicing specifically in High Courts and Supreme Court, because I'm practicing in Supreme Court, and earlier I was practicing in Tribunal High Court of Bombay and some sister Tribunal of Bombay also. Before that, I was practicing in district courts and tehsil courts also. So every court have a different hunger. Every judge have a different hunger. Trial court judge likes facts more. Evidences they like, which is related to facts. At the time of argument only, you have to show some case laws like that. So their main hunger is of facts. So you should be very well versed while arguing or while trialing in trial courts. That trial court may be of JMFC, that trial court may be of session court. This is related to criminal matters, so I'm guiding only criminal law practice. I'm not a criminal lawyer, I'm not a civil lawyer, I'm not a corporate lawyer, I'm not a service matters lawyer, I'm not an army matters lawyer, I am a lawyer of all this, because we are practicing in Supreme Court. So we have to handle all the cases. So you find my books on Supreme Court case laws on all these different subjects, which is available on Amazon and Flipkart, and you may be finding this description of this video on YouTube. So friends, hunger of session court is a different. When session court is appellate court in some matters, after JMFC, district court, you can say. Then high court. High court, when you come to high court as a practitioner lawyer, you should focus on question of laws, which is related to facts also, which is related to your constitutional rights also. So substantial question of law or question of laws are more important when arguing in the high courts, and specifically in Supreme Court. Substantial question of law are very important for admitting your special leave petition, special leave to appeal, which has given authority to Supreme Court judges under Article 136 of Constitution of India. Any judgment of trial court, tribunal, lower court, or high court, any judgment you can challenge under Article 136 and SLP. You can find my separate video on SLP of Supreme Courts, then jurisdiction of Supreme Court, then how to find good lawyers in Supreme Court. So many videos, more than 300 videos you will find on my YouTube channel. So on SLP, on writ petition, everywhere you will find that. As concerned with writ petition, High Court have more power than Supreme Court in writ petition. Supreme Court have the power of writ petition under Article 32. So only constitutional, only fundamental rights writ petition can be filed directly in Supreme Court. But practical is that when High Court have that same remedy, you should approach to High Court first and then come to Supreme. This is practical guidance. But sometimes you can directly come to Supreme Court also in writ petition. This is the number. But when you compare writ petition matters to High Court, so High Court have a jurisdiction under two articles, under Article 226 and under Article 227. So one, your constitutional right, fundamental right, one covers your statutory rights, legal rights also. So when anybody wants to file the writ petition, it is better to find it in your High Court. And after High Court, then approach to Supreme. That is always advisable. So this is the little bit which I want to share today related to practice. So in next part also, second part also, third part also, I will try to share you some things. Manoj, I am unmuting you. Now you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, the participants, for attending the first part of the BNSS. So today we have covered from the section 1 to 132. So we have an next session, we will start from the 133. In the meantime, you can revise these videos so that you can grasp all the sections. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Manoj. And thank you very much, all participants. Thank you.
नमस्कार, मैं पूजा राय आपको एडवोकेट जयप्रकाश सोमानी जी का थोड़ा सा परिचय करके देती हूँ। जयप्रकाश बंसीलाल सोमानी सर्वोच्च न्यायालय में अधिवक्ता हैं। 12 जूनियर के साथ वो लॉ फर्म चलाते हैं जिसमें 5 AOR हैं। सोमानी जी भारत के हर राज्य और केंद्र शासित प्रदेश के मैटर बखूबी हैंडल करते हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट केस लॉ के ऊपर उनकी 61 किताबें प्रकाशित हुई हैं जो Amazon और फ्लिपकार्ट पे अवेलेबल हैं। लिंक आपको नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। भारत के लगभग सभी हाई कोर्ट और डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट के अधिवक्ता इन किताबों का उपयोग करते हैं। अगर आपको सोमानी जी की गाइडेंस अच्छी लगती है तो नीचे कमेंट बॉक्स में जरूर लिखें और अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करना ना भूलें। हाँ, अगर आपने चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो सब्सक्राइब कर लें और बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें ताकि हमारा कोई भी नया वीडियो आता है उसका अपडेट आपको मिल सके। जय हिंद।